Hi, I'm Radiance. Join me on a journey to bring you enticing recipes where every video is a celebration of deliciousness, creativity, simplicity, and foodie inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, this recipe is actually inspired by my homeland of Jamaica. This is Jamaican rice and peas, no rice. Yes, I said no rice. So you're wondering, what are you gonna make rice and peas with if there's no rice? Well, I decided to make it with something different, quinoa. So, quinoa actually is a type of edible seed. Let me show you what it looks like. As you can see, it's really very fine. Ooh, hear the sound? And what I'm gonna do is, while I get this going, I'm actually going to rinse the quinoa and tell you about it. So we're gonna need about 2 cups of quinoa. I'm gonna put this over. And the quinoa, the reason why you want to rinse the quinoa is because it has like an outer husk that protects it. And you want to soak it to get some of that off, so it's better for your digestion. All right, I'm actually going to rinse this. I'll be right back. I'll put this here, and what you're going to do is put the quinoa aside. In this, you're going to also need coconut milk, fresh thyme, scallions or green onions, some dark red kidney beans, and a little bit of allspice, which is right here. All right, so when I'm really going traditional, there's 2 things I'll do when it comes to rice and peas. I'll use a fresh coconut, and I'll make my own coconut milk. When I'm pressed for time, or I just want to get it done, I'll use an unsweetened, just nothing else in it but coconut milk, filtered water, coconut cream, and call it a day. So we're gonna do about 1.5 cups of this. You can use a can, that's about 13.5 ounces, but I'm adjusting this a little bit because I want a bit of coconut flavor in this. So let me turn this on. And put that in your pot. And you're going to put in 1/2 cup of water. Now you can adjust it. Sometimes if you want to have like a less coconutty flavor, which I don't prefer, you could put in 2 cups. I mean, you could put in less. If you really want to rub it up, just put in all coconut water. But I'm going to put in a little bit of water, so 1/2 cup. There we go. 1/2 cup. You put in your quinoa rinsed. What I'm going to do is I am going to actually take some scallions, maybe just 1 or 2 stalks. I'm going to cut off the end of this. This is the wet part. Make sure that there's nothing on this. You pull it back. If a little bit comes off like that, you just throw it away. And some people rough chop it. What I like to do is I actually like to get any flavor into my quinoa. So I'm going to actually trim off the green end too. And I'm going to cut up like a little dice, just little circles of the green onion. So I like the flavor to keep in there. Traditionally, you just cut it up into bigger chunks, like 4 pieces maybe, and put it in there and take it out afterwards. But like I said, I like to have some in there, so I'm gonna chop some of the green. I'm gonna finally chop some of the white in there as well. Now, before I put that in there, I'm gonna take the bigger pieces, chunk them, toss them in there, and I'm going to mince this a little bit more. So you run your knife over this, and you put it in there. Put a little bit more in. All right. I'm gonna put in probably about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 sprigs. There you go. If you don't have fresh thyme, just use dry thyme. You can put it maybe about half a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna let that boil up. I'm actually going to turn it up a bit, let that boil up. And while that boils up a bit, I'm going to open up my can of red kidney beans. Now, once again, if I'm doing this traditionally, I will get raw, dried kidney beans. But honestly, you have to soak that overnight, soak that, for 24 hours, rinse it, then you have to cook it, on the stove and do that for sometimes an hour or more until the beans get soft. If you have time, do that. But I want to eat dinner now. So, because I'm a little impatient, I don't want to wait, this is my shortcut. This is no salt added. I like to get no salt added beans if I do it from the can, but here's a tip. No salt added beans actually still have, I don't know if you can see that, still has sugar in it. Still has sugar in there. So I actually rinse them. Whether it has sugar or not, I like to rinse my beans, period. So traditionally people put the whole thing in there because it gives a little bit of color, but I'm gonna rinse off most of the liquid that's in here. So open up my cans. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna rinse it. So we want a little bit of color, which you have for the rice traditionally. And you put in the beans, just like that. Now, the last 2 things I'm going to add while that boils up is some allspice. I'm going to do, this is a teaspoon. Yeah, I'm going to do like a half teaspoon. And some salt. Now, this is not traditional, but sometimes I like to add a little bit of onion powder. Just a little bit of onion powder. Put in a little bit of sea salt. Put it into taste. Sometimes I put in a half teaspoon. I didn't measure that, but a couple of clicks. And if you feel so inspired, sometimes I would say traditionally also, Scotch bonnet pepper is something that's used in the Caribbean. I tend not to put it in my rice. I like to put it in my marinades, which you find it in my jerk marinade recipe. But if you don't have Scotch bonnet peppers and you do want a little spice to your rice, just get some habaneros. Get some habaneros. If you put it in there whole and it bursts open, just know it's going to make it real spicy. Make sure you cut it open and take out the memory if you don't want it as spicy. If you want some spice to your life in your rice, then cut it open, leave the seeds in there, and you'll definitely have a spicy rice. I'm going to get, hold on, got my spoon. I'm going to stir this. This is boiling up. Alright, and you're going to cover this. You're going to turn it down. So you're going to let this sit and cook, I would say around 21 minutes or so. I would check it at that point. You can check it again maybe halfway through just to see how it's soaking up, because quinoa, like rice, will soak up the liquid. If you feel like it's getting too dry, you can add a little bit more coconut milk, a little bit more water, but it should be good for now. I'm going to let that sit and I'll be back. Okay, so here we are, 21 minutes later, roughly about. I'm going to check on the quinoa and see what it's looking like. I'm going to put this on my chopping board. Now, sometimes you'll notice that, and this happens to rice as well sometimes, you notice a little bit of the coconut milk has foamed up on top. Just mix it in. This looks well cooked and it's fluffy. But I'm going to say this to you. I like mine to be a little bit more cooked. 21 minutes is roughly what time I use when I cook quinoa just by itself, when I just make plain quinoa. I'm gonna let this sit for another moment. Just another minute. I'm actually gonna use this one right here so you can see it. You can see it. I'm actually gonna cover this up and use this. Alright. Take this off. I'm actually going to put some in here so you can see it. Now see, these are thyme stalks. Might want to take those out. That's not something you want to eat, but they have a great flavor. See that? Steamy, yummy. Jamaican rice and peas, no rice, with quinoa instead. I'm actually going to taste a little bit. It's a little bit on the hot side. Make sure you cool it off, don't burn yourself. Perfect. 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 This goes very, very well with any other Caribbean dishes. You can put it with some marinated, like I made the other day, some marinated reminds me mushrooms that were jerk. So jerk, curry, brown stew, all those flavors from the Caribbean islands pair well with this. Pair very well with this. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna have a little bit more because it is that good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect. It's smooth, so creamy, luscious, coconutty. Perfect. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and comment if you want to try this. I say be bold, try it, get yourself some quinoa. You can find it online, you can find it in stores. I use white quinoa. Also, if you want to continue to get recipes like this one that are foodie and island inspired from me, subscribe to my channel, and also click the link below in my bio and join my free VIP group. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and you have an amazing, amazing day. Ciao.